What's up, guys? Meta here with another retro deck profile. We actually just finished locals. Nathan here went undefeated.
Playing Lightsworn Rulers.
Lightsworn Rulers without Soul Charge and without Curry Bandit.
Yeah, it's January 2014 Lightsworn Rulers, and I gotta tell you, didn't actually know how I was gonna do. So super excited. This is one of my favorite decks of all time.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, first three cards, of course, are Judgment Dragons, because why would you not play Judgment Dragon?
It's the best one.
This card just makes opponents' boards go boom. Like,
it judges you.
It does, very harshly. And then next three, we'll get into the Lightsworns. I've got triple Lumina, because Lumina's really good.
You don't have Raiden yet either.
Yeah, that was the big thing. So, like, I was thinking about... There have been multiple times where I was like testing with this that I thought about dropping this down to 2, and I was just kind of like, I need Lightsworn names for Judgment Dragon, and this is just a combo starter.
It mills more cards.
It's like that's the thing. It's not even about the milling for me. It's more about getting things like Wyvern out of hand.
Okay.
The discard.
Yeah.
The discard.
The discard is just so important because it just lets you get things. You open Wyvern. I mean, you can set it, pretend it's a Ryko, but like. Yeah, it's mostly for getting things like Wyvern out of hand.
Okay.
That's kind of how I try to use it, at least. Double Lyla. This is still Lightsworns, and it still has a really hard time just
No, you're fine.
getting around back row, so you still need the back row 8. You still need to be able to pop stuff,
Yeah, purple cards are still popular in this format.
Yeah, they are. Right around here, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Here are my one-ofs. Most of these are just kind of for names. Ehren and Ryko, honestly, the only time I ever actually set the Ryko, I got mind controlled and used against me. It hurt really bad. The Ehren, I like running Ehren just in case I do run into something set.
It like armor and Lind, it's pretty good against.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the armor flips or whatever, so it like searches, but it gets it out of there.
But,
and it's a normal
then
summon that gets rid of it.
Yeah, even then it's just gone.
Really good against Lind though.
Honestly, Jain is just another name.
Because you don't have to deal with Thunder Kings this format.
Yeah. And then Garroth is, again, another name, but like the fact that you can potentially add. This deck is only running, I think, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Lightsworns, so...
Did you ever think about double Garroth because you have the 3 Luminas, or did you just feel like it was just like a clump?
Honestly, like, I've been playing this deck for a long time, and there was never a point in time that I ever thought you needed more than 1 Garroth, even with Charge at 1. I don't know why. The way I look at it is, like, this deck is playing 11 Lightsworns, and yeah, that's a third of your deck, but, like... Or, I'm sorry, a fourth of your deck, but to me, that's not enough to justify having more than one. Like, the number of times I went like Lumina Garroth is just, it's very, very
minimal
okay anymore.
That makes sense.
But yeah. And then 2 Wulf, because it's still Wulf, and special summoning a Wulf off a random mill is actually really, really good.
And it's a free body off of it's a free like rank 4 if you have like a Wyvern with a Foolish Burial.
Yeah. And I mean, just rank 4 plays are very important in this deck.
Especially because you have 101 and Exaton now.
Yeah, very important. Both of those are very good. A lot of what I was running, or a lot of what I was using was Lavalval Chain.
Okay.
Because of...
Send Wyvern?
Send anything, honestly. Wyvern, a Dragon Ruler. Like I said, this is Lightsworn Rulers, so... Yeah. There were a couple times I just sent another Lightsworn so I could drop a JD. It's just a free Foolish Burial for anything in the deck that you can use.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The deck can have a lot of trouble getting started, so it's got to run as many starter cards as it can. It's kind of why Card Trooper's still in here. But Card Trooper also pairs really, really well with... some of the hand traps you're playing.
It makes sense because like I've noticed like if you try and go like Lyla and then they just go okay Breakthrough Skull or Valor and it's like okay I'm not milling this turn and Card Trooper allows you to like mill for cost and get through that.
You get to mill and you get to mill through effects and
you get to mill in the main phase.
Yeah, that's one of the big things. You're putting cards in grave as quickly as you can. Honestly, I look at it as another card Charge of the Light Brigade. With Charge only being at 1, this just lets you get cards in the graveyard with basically no consequences.
I mean, it's a debris target and it's an Earth for Redox.
So I actually last minute put Blackrose in the extra deck because I realized that debris could target this and you could mill and then make a Blackrose. And
Blackrose is a dragon, which you can banish.
Blackrose is a dragon.
And even if they like Valor it, and if you have like an extra,
it's a level 7 dragon.
It's a level 7 dragon.
Yeah, it's pretty nutty. But yeah, that was a last minute change, and I did it I think once today, but you know.
I didn't make my Blackrose today.
Yeah, I did it like one time. Card Trooper pairs really well with some of the hand traps. I've got like a 5 hand trap lineup with the 2 Trag. Card Trooper plays really well with Trag because you can drop this on any damage as opposed to Gorz.
That's worked since like September 09 Twilight.
Yeah. It's just really good. Double Trag is really good. And then I've got the Gorz. This deck plays 4 back row, and honestly, a lot of the times I didn't see it. So
it's enough for the level 7.
Yeah, Gorz is always super live, and it's a free level 7 for overlaying or synchroing into things like Crimson Blader.
Crimson Blader is really good in a lot of matchups.
That it is.
Water, Heradic Ruler.
Yeah, that was the main reason why I was running it, was for water. And I think I made it against you.
Yeah, and it wasn't even...
And it didn't even get used for what it was supposed to get used for.
It's just because it was a 2800 beat stick.
it was just big. And then the 2 Maxx. This was another like last minute change. I knew I really kind of wanted to have this in here. Even though, honestly, I think Valor might have been a better call for the main deck. But...
it's an Earth. It helps you make Orient Dragon. If it's dead in a matchup, if you have it with Redox, it's a Reborn.
Yeah.
If it's against a deck like Boojins or something like that, where they're not going to special summon, where you're going to get like it's like Upstart Goblin.
Yeah,
it's Upstart Goblin against Carnation and
honestly, like this is one of those things that like even if I only get 1 draw out of this, it's still another it's advantage. It's advantage. But yeah, so like that's all the hand traps. Now for the dragon lineup, we're gonna start with like probably like one of the most important cards in the deck is Eclipse Wyvern.
A card searches Judgment Dragon.
Judgment Dragon. It searches a lot of stuff. But like, yeah, this card searches Judgment Dragon, and honestly, more often than not, that's what you're banishing off of it. And then it just works really, really well with the rulers. So, and then 1 of each ruler. I know that
you play Tidal.
I play all of them, and it's specifically to try to see them more and more and more and more. I don't need to play all 4 of them, and honestly, when I was looking at builds, this was one of the cards that I considered removing. But this plays well with the fact that I play a Lavalval Chain, so it can just be summoned off of that as well.
Yeah.
Tempest. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I feel like it makes sense for the 4 rulers in a format without Soul Charge because you just don't have instant access to Lavalval Chain.
Yeah. Honestly, if during Soul Charge or during I guess what is that? April. Yeah. I would definitely drop this down to 2 probably.
Yeah, it's just Blast. I just play Blaster and Tempest.
Blaster and Redox.
I play Blaster and Tempest because you make Draco Sack and I don't make Maxi.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, Blaster
and you don't even need Card Trooper because you have Raiden, so you can mill in the main phase with that.
You have Raiden, you have Soul Charge, you have Curry Bandit,
yeah.
Which Curry Bandit is really, really good for this deck. The amount of times I wish I could have Curry Bandit and just saw Needlebug's Nest for later or anything like that would have been really, really great, but that is what it is. Cards just aren't out yet. I've got a bunch of 1-ofs that I'm just going to go over real quick. Red MD is another card that I thought about not playing. I do, yeah. Red MD is another card that I thought about not playing, but it's really good to be able to just banish a Dragon Ruler and be able to make, as I did, Star Eater if you can't get to this. Or
because he's 10 and Guard is 1.
Yeah,
so
Guard is 1. And then or just specialing Guard to work with another level 7 to make any level 8. It's all just... Yeah, it's all about synchroing at that point, and just having the options is really, really good. Diabolos was one that I started with at 2, but I realized it's very early on. I also had Dad in the deck at one point, but I realized very, very early on that like I'm running 4 Darks, and Dad
just because you can search it.
Yeah. I was literally looking at Dad because I could search it off of Wyvern. Yeah, but I was just like I play 4 Darks and like. The chances of me making Dad live is slim.
Yeah.
And so I just dropped it. Diabolos was kind of the same way. Like, yeah, I can search it, but like the chances of me actually dropping this are slim. I went back and looked at like the light lineup, and yeah, I'm playing 11 Lightsworns. I think something like 6 different names, 7 different names, the Judgment Dragons and all that kind of stuff. But like with the mix of the amount of cards that are in the deck, I don't think there was a time today. There was one time today that I was actually able to summon this and did. And spun a card to the top that didn't even matter. So,
okay.
And then I play the Debris Dragon in the Guard. The Debris Dragon is good with 7s because it makes Star Eater. The Guard is good with Red MD or
Then either
7s
sevens to make 8s.
to just make 8s. Yeah, just all that stuff, all the good stuff. And of course, these are searchable off of the Dragon Rulers.
And your synchro lineup can be a little bit more robust because you're not building boards under Soul Charge, so you can play cards like Crimson Blader.
Yep.
Which makes a lot of sense.
That's it for the monsters. So spells, I'm running the traditional. I'm in the right place, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm running the traditional 3 Solar Recharge and the Charge. I'm also playing the Foolish because putting cards in your graveyard in this deck is very, very good, and having the option to just be able to Foolish. Like I said earlier, literally
a Wyvern,
a Wyvern, a Dragon Ruler, just literally anything, just to be
a
able to.
Wulf to make a rank 4.
Yep, just to be able to go is just really, really good. So.
And you're playing 4 trap cards?
I'm playing 4 trap cards. I am actually playing 3 Needlebug Nest and a single Breakthrough Skill. This didn't actually get used today. I said it one time and then it got popped.
It's really good to stop Dweller.
Yeah.
You just need to have something that you can mill and still get to Dweller.
Yeah. And like that's what ended up happening. It ended up in the graveyard more often than not. Honestly, it ended up getting sided out more often than not, specifically because I would side in Veilers for certain matchups. So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like Breakthrough Seal because you can do it on your opponent's turn.
Right.
Let me hit the extra deck.
Hit the extra deck. All right, so I'm going to start with the Synchros. I actually play 5 Synchros, and honestly, I feel like that's probably fine.
Speaking of honestly, you don't play Honest.
I don't play Honest. Honest is a great one-of card, and it does a lot, but this deck tries very, very hard to just, like, power through, and more often than not, I'm not just leaving light monsters on the board to get attacked over.
I found myself boarding it out every game 2 and 3 pretty much.
Yeah. Like, I think Honest is great, and I love Honest, and I wish it was better in the later years, and it sucks that it stayed at 1 for so long, but,
yeah.
you know. So to start, I do have the Orient Dragon, because you got to get over Synchros. I'm playing a Blackrose, again, because you can Debris Dragon into Card Trooper, mill, and then just nuke a board, and I did have to do that once today. Crimson Blader to, mostly for water, to try, or I guess...
Erratic Rulers as
well. To just keep them from being able to play.
It's bigger than Gaia Charger.
It is. Scrap Dragon, this was more of a, do I play this or do I play Diamond Dire? Because either one of those accomplishes something, but Scrap Dragon would be able to pop something else versus just itself, whereas if I'm playing this deck with Diamond Dire would be what has to go to be able to pop the other card. It is also a dragon.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
You don't look like one.
And then Star Eater. Star Eater
the best one.
Is really, really good, and I made it against you today because of Leo.
Because it's bigger than Leo.
Because it's barely bigger than Leo.
Barely bigger than Leo.
But yeah, so Star Eater's really good. It's also a dragon, and so it can.
And it's a light for Diablosis or whatever.
Yeah, it's also a light for Diabolos. It's a dragon for Dragon Rulers. It's just Orient Dragon's a dragon. Blackrose is a dragon. I don't know if you see a pattern.
Blader's a fire. For Blaster.
Blader's a fire for Blaster. Like, it's all just fuel for Dragon Rulers. Then as far as the rest of the extra deck, it's all XYZs. The Leviair, which I made once today, it's really hard to go into this card. It's basically just Lumina.
Yeah, because you don't play Arcus.
Yeah, no. And Arcus is another one of the cards that I've always really liked, but it's just, it's not good. It's not useful. Yeah, it's not good. Let's be real.
It's good in the mirror match back in the day, because then your opponent couldn't Lumina.
Yeah. And then I didn't want to play a second one of these because honestly I didn't think I was going to be using it all that often. I maybe used this once today, so I also played a Zen Mains just to kind of round out a 3 package. Just
if you needed of like
if there was a point in time where it's just like I can't get over anything, so let's
see if I can draw out of it.
Let's just see if I can take some time. A lot of the rest of it is rank 4s, and even those at this point in time are very difficult to make because you don't have Raiden. But I'm playing the Dweller to stop graveyard effects. Again, this is really good against Mermail. Against
that's a free win against that deck. If they don't have breakthrough,
it's good against Heretic Ruler. It's good against a lot of that stuff. It's also good against me. So, Daigusto Emeral. This is another one that I almost didn't play, but I've always loved this card. I just like the fact that it's a mini pot of Avarice, especially now that Avarice is gone. In this deck, it didn't matter as much because if a JD went to grave, you could just banish it for a Dragon Ruler. But a lot of times, this was just a better option, in my opinion, than like Monster Reincarnation. because especially coming up later when you have Raiden to be able to make easier rank 4s, I guess. It just lets you get back things that you don't want in graveyard, and you get a draw out of it. So, didn't really do much today. Exciton Knight, never played. Yeah, it's just kind of a staple. Never played it.
It's good against Fire Fist.
Yeah, it's. I don't think I ever played it. I don't think there was any point in time where I ever needed to play it. This deck can have a lot of advantage if it wants to, so Exciton Knight becomes a little pointless at that. But it also can just lose advantage very, very quickly, and Exciton Knight can be very, very good in that regard. This is probably like
the best one.
Yeah, the MVP of the extra deck today. Lavalval Chain is just broken. Again, it's a foolish burial. You can send literally anything you want. I never used the stack effect because I didn't need to. I wanted stuff.
If it lives, you can make yourself stack JD.
Yeah.
You should link them to the Infernity matches that use like 5 of them.
Just all of a sudden, just boom, 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 boom. But yeah, next is Maestroke. This is again just a standard kind of defense thing, almost like Zenmain's. Yeah, it can book a card, but more often than not, this is me just walling up, trying not to die. Yeah. Honor Arc, again, staple.
The only water for Tidal.
Yes, the only water for Tidal. But I never played it, and there was just never an instance where I needed to make it, or I didn't have the cards to make it. A lot of these rank 4s don't get good until Raiden.
Yeah.
That's kind of just the way it is. But
access to them doesn't get good until Raiden, yeah.
And then the last two are the rank 7s, which are, again, staple in anything that can run 7s. You've got your Draco Sack, which I think I made once, and you've got your Big Eye, which I also made once, and it got negated by Gaios because I misplayed. Because
Yu-Gi-Oh!
But yeah.
Side deck?
Yeah, side deck's fine. So this was kind of more of a thrown together hodgepodge. I know what a couple of these I was playing them for, but mostly it was just good cards that I was just like, this might be good against X deck. I've got Crow, 2 of them, which again plays well against Mermail. It can, especially Mermail now. It plays well against Infernity. I actually won an Infernity, a match against Infernity today because I got lucky and got double this, and he launchered for 2 Archfiends, and I just crowed them both. Only reason I won that game. Veilers, 2 Veilers. I'm torn as to whether or not I should have played this or the Maxx in the main. I'm thinking I should have leaned more towards this, just because a lot of decks that are being played right now, except for like most of them, I would say the only 2 outliers are like maybe Girya Karakuri and Heretic Rulers.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are not just going through like insane combos and advantage. I guess Infernity is also around at this point, but Infernity didn't get super popular until Soul Charge.
Yeah.
So that's me probably looking too much back on how the game was played versus how people play it now, because there were a couple Infernity decks.
Yeah,
today,
Infernity was a good deck.
So this
Transmodify.
This might have been like the better choice. But I'm kind of back and forth on it. I did find myself siding this in a lot. And typically when I sided this in, Breakthrough Skill came out, and I sided Tidal out a lot, honestly.
Okay,
yeah.
I can see that.
I typically, when this came in, I also sided out Flamvell Guard, just because it's another level 1 tuner.
Okay.
Double MST, I was going to run triple, but I don't like that I only have 2 Ultras. So that's the God's honest truth. Yeah, but double MST, again, this deck can have trouble getting over back row sometimes. Yeah, it can just poop out advantage, but like, you still want that advantage to stick.
Yeah.
And if your stuff is just getting gone,
yeah,
you're not doing anything. So next one's a little bit weird, and I sided the DNA surgeries. This is exclusively for spellbooks that nobody was playing.
So you didn't side? Did you? I was asking if you played Bujin today, because a lot of them require a Bujin Beast Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if that card was any good against it, because I did side it too.
So I didn't play Bujin today. We did have a Bujin deck, and shout out to Kyle, he's amazing. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. I've got to be honest. Bujin wasn't even on my radar when we were building for this, I guess, almost a month ago.
Okay.
So this was like exclusively me saying, if anybody plays spellbooks, I'm going to make everything machines or dragons, and
yeah,
just they can't play their cards.
Yeah.
So But yeah, you're right. It would probably work well against Boojins.
I literally just thought of it right now. I was just kind of
Yeah.
curious.
Oh no.
You could maybe cite it against Geargia. They can't make Gigant.
That's true.
It's probably not good, but that's the only card you
No,
got.
that's
You
true.
could.
I also have 2 Dust Tornadoes.
So third
because-
space, 1 dust.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Which is what I would have done probably if I had the other Ultra, but I didn't like that I would have had to play 2 Ultras in a common, so...
High rarity Master Race.
Yeah. And then 2 Mind Crush.
The
Which,
card's really good. Underrated sideboard card, and that's
so
one.
when I was building these, it was either this or a Mind Drain,
Okay.
and I went for this instead.
I think that's better
Yeah, I
because
think this is a better option.
that card is really good against Geargia. It's really good against tanky decks.
Yep.
I just think that card is nuts.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, that's... You laid it all out
Yeah,
there.
the card is
Like, you
good.
laid it all out there.
I
It's
think
really
that card
good.
is really underrated in that format, and
Yeah.
you should play Mind Crush.
And then the last was Triple Decree, which I never actually cited in, and shame on me because I should have multiple times. This is just an easy cite in and replace the Needlebug Nests and just prevent people from using their back row. I tried to opt more towards the MSTs just to kind of like space target back rows, but even then I cited MSTs and didn't really even see them.
Makes sense. If I had triple decree, I'd probably take the double dust and maybe play like Shadow Mirrors or something.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the Double Dust. Double Dust is one of those cards that I ended up playing only because I didn't have 3 MST. I would not have played them otherwise. Shadow Mirror is a good call. What would that have hit?
Infernity.
Are they
They're
all
dark.
dark?
They're all dark.
Infernity or Dark World in this format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that Dark World creator deck
Yeah.
as well. Dark
They
Creator.
are all dark, aren't they? Dude, don't look at me.
I love you.
Stop.
I thought they were fire.
I love this
I'm
guy.
so tired right now.
I love
Infernities are dark monsters. Thanks for watching, guys.